it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing a fall book haul. Rhymes are fun, yay! So today's video is sponsored by Chapters Indigo, which is not only the bookstore that I work at, but also my favorite place to shop for books. So I will leave a link to them down below. I highly recommend that you go and check out the site. It is all fall and pretty and just gorgeous, and yes. So fall is a big season for new releases, so I have quite a few to talk about today, and I'm very excited to chat about them, so let's get into it. So first I have 4 of the recent Indigo Teen staff picks of the month. I have just forgotten to include them in my book hauls recently, so I kind of have a backlog of them to talk about. So first is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This seems like kind of a perfect book for fall time because it has a mystery element to it. So the main character's best friend, Monday, has gone missing, and she's like the only one who seems to notice that she's gone. So she's really confused by the whole thing and is kind of like, am I being punked here? So there's a little bit of mystery going on here, which I love for around fall. As someone so kindly informed me, you can read mysteries year round. I know I can, but I just like to read them at fall time, so I'm very happy to have this for the fall season. The next staff pick of the month is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. This is all about a boy named, you guessed it, Darius, and his struggles with his identity. He's having a really hard time with accepting who he is because he doesn't really have a lot of friends, but then he ends up going to Iran to learn more about his heritage, and he meets a lot of his relatives, and he also meets a boy who he becomes great friends with, but there's issues with that because there's an obvious time limit on their relationship since Darius is going to go back to America at some point. So I think this is going to be a beautiful story about a beautiful culture that's going to feature an amazing relationship, and I'm excited to see how it is going to blossom. So I think this is going to be a great read. Next is Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. I actually ended up receiving 3 copies of this book because Indigo sent it to me, and then I also ended up getting it in 2 subscription boxes. So obviously the universe is telling me that this is a good book and I really need to read it. I don't know a lot about it. I know that what I do know reminds me of The Handmaid's Tale, so it seems kind of like a feminist fantasy. So there are 2 characters and they are sisters. So one is a Grace and one is a Fury, which Fury I don't think is actually a name for anything. I think she's just like a really spunky girl and she kind of is a rebel, so I'm all about her. Her sister has been raised to stand behind the throne as the picture of the perfect obedient woman, which is just, it's a lot for me. So I'm interested to see how this fantasy novel is going to twist that, what it's going to do with that narrative, and the contrast between the 2 sisters has a lot of room for a lot of potential. That was a weird sentence, but basically the point is I'm interested in this and I think it could be cool. And the final staff pick of the month is one that I am planning on reading for the Spookathon this October, and that is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. I believe this is a thriller. It's a book that I never looked at the dust jacket for because I just don't like knowing about my thrillers before I go into them. I don't really like knowing a lot about any of the books that I read before I go into them, but particularly thrillers and mysteries, I want to go in knowing as little as possible, and that's when I find that I most enjoy the books that I'm reading in those genres, because it's kind of a genre where you need to just go with the flow and see what happens. So that is exactly what I'm planning on doing with Neverworld Wake. This is Marisha Pessl's first venture into YA. She has a lot of really successful thrillers in the adult section, so I'm wondering how that is going to translate into YA. Now the rest of this book haul is all new releases because, like I said, there is a lot of them. So this first one isn't a new release, but it is like a new release of an old release, and that is the collector's edition of The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. We actually got signed copies at our store, which I was very excited about. I already have a personalized signed copy, but I can't resist when we have like fancy signed copies like this, so I had to get this. I believe it's because she went to stores in Toronto when she was here for TIFF because they premiered the Hate You Give movie at TIFF. I actually was very last minute invited to that, but I was in Florida so I couldn't go, and I'm still heartbroken about it because I want to see this movie so badly and that would have been so much fun, but it's fine, moving on. So The Hate You Give, if you haven't heard of it, just go and pick up a copy and read it because it is amazing. You really just need to dive into this story and then go and see the movie because all of it is going to be great and it is so important. Just do it. The next book is also a signed book, and that is Two Dark Reigns by Endora Blake. This is the next installment in the ever so popular 3 Dark Crowns Neverworld series. I have read the first 2 books. I actually listened to the audiobooks for them and I really enjoyed them, so I will probably go the audiobook route for this one as well. But they're just really dark and twisted fantasy stories, so they are great for fall. I just love me some like dark, weird, creepy books for fall, in case you couldn't tell. And this definitely fits that. You never really know what's happening. There's so many twists and turns in the story that you're like, what? I thought this, no, what? Ugh. So it makes for a very interesting reading experience, and I'm excited to see what the next book has in store for me. Next is another signed copy of a book. I love the fact that so many authors are signing their books now. It just makes me happy. But that is an absolutely remarkable thing by Hank Green. I was really excited when I opened up my copy because I got a Hankler fish. I never get any of those things. I always check, but it was really nice to get it for this one, and I'm so interested to see what Hank Green has in store. I have heard some amazing things about this book. I think I'm going to be reading it this month. Hopefully I will get to it. I'm going to try to, but in case you didn't know, Hank Green is a part of the Vlogbrothers, which is his channel with his brother John Green, who I am sure you know, the author of The Fault in Our Stars and all of those amazing books. So immediately when I heard that Hank was writing his own book, I was like, yes, I need it, and now I have it in my hands. It's about a girl who finds unexpected stardom on the internet when she posts a YouTube video and doesn't really expect anything of it, but then she ends up becoming very, very popular, and it's how she deals with that newfound fame. And she's an older character. This is actually an adult book. It's not YA, so I'm excited to read an adult contemporary because that's honestly not something that I do very often. Generally, if I'm going to read adult, I like historical fiction, but this will be a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I hope I like it. Next is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. This is another book that I'm planning on reading this month, and this one I'm planning on reading on Halloween Day because I'm going to do a little mini 24-hour readathon, so I'm not really doing it formally or anything, but I will be vlogging the whole thing. I'm not sure when this video will be going up, so if it's up before then it is coming, and if it's not, then I will link it down below. But this is a retelling of Frankenstein, which I read last Halloween, and I loved it, so now that I've read the classic, I'm really excited to delve into some retellings, and I've heard some really great things about this one. The cover really freaks me out, and it's like, it's so good, but it's so like freaky at the same time. Just something about the stitching and everything. I don't know. I think they nailed it though. Next is another Halloween read, but this is one that I've actually already read. Yay! And that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I listened to the audiobook for this book after so many people were raving about it, and it really was a great audiobook. I highly recommend it, but whether you listen to the audio or you read the book, I don't think you will be able to deny the fact that this is a very dark and disturbing story. There are many trigger warnings associated with it, so check out the Goodreads page if that is something that you're worried about, because a lot of people posted trigger warnings, like child abuse is a main thing in it. There's honestly just so many things, and it was a wild ride. This is definitely one where you need to just go into the story knowing as little as possible, so I'm not even going to tell you anything. Just pick it up. It was really good. Just be warned that it is probably one of the darkest books that I've read in the YA section, or even otherwise. And finally is Escaping from Houdini by Kerri Maniscalco, the much anticipated next installment in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Stalking Jack the Ripper is one of those series that I didn't think I would like, and then I ended up falling in love with it, and I am so excited to see what is next for these characters because I love them so much. I love the fact that it's in a different setting every single time. This one I think is partially set in America, not fully. I think a lot of it takes place on a boat actually, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I don't really like getting synopsises for sequels because I'm just gonna read it anyways, so that's exactly what I'm going to do for this one. So I'm going to try and get to it this month. Hopefully the reading slump will be over and I will be able to devour it. Nom 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 nom. So that is all for today's book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much to Chapters Indigo for sponsoring today's video. I will have the link so you can check out the website down below, or you can go to the store closest to you. But I am so excited to get into reading all of these that I'm gonna stop filming right now and start reading them. I'm not actually, because I have a lot of filming to do today, but we can pretend. But if you guys wanted to join the Bookland family and become a Booklander, then don't forget to click that subscribe button and then click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Wednesday and Friday, and I also have a live show that I participate in every Tuesday, but all the information for that stuff will be down below. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and links will also be in the description box down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!